everyone to our May edition of our Global BA Stand-Up. I'm so happy to have you all here. Please put in the chat where y'all are from. I want to see where we got everybody. This is supposed to be global, so I want to make sure I represent or I know the different countries that are being represented here. So put in the chat. Let me see what y'all are talking about over here. Pennsylvania, very good. New Jersey, Ontario. Let's see, who else? UK, US, Ireland, nice. Jordan, awesome. Australia, Kenya, Ontario again, South Africa, Maryland, UK, Connecticut, nice. UK again. That's awesome. I'm happy to see so much people here from all over the world. Canada, Atlanta. Hey guys, I'm from Atlanta too, so you know I gotta shout out. Well, I'm a transplant. I'm originally from Jamaica. I just live in Atlanta right now. So Jamaica is my home for sure. Jamaica, Latoya, nice to have you here. Awesome. Virginia, Canada, lots of Canadians today. Nice. Ontario, Nigeria, very good. United Kingdom, awesome. All right, welcome everybody from all over the world. Thank you guys for registering. If you've been coming to these for the last 5 months, if you've saved the meeting invite, you can just always click on the same invite. So you don't have to re-register every time. It's really for the new people who don't have it. So just save the meeting to your calendar and then you can always join on the first Monday of every month. If you're new here, welcome again. And what we do here is we talk about business analysis. We talk about your career. We talk about the challenges you might be having. It's just kind of a sync up, right? So it's a global way for us to meet, to connect, to talk about our career, to help others who are struggling to get started. If you're already, in the career doing well, to give advice, to kind of support. I have a community coming out, which I have a waiting list I'm about to release also. You can go on the waiting list where you'll have much more than just this, right? There'll be meetings like these for that community. We'll have an opportunity to chat. We have a chat software that you'll be able to chat among each other. There'll just be a lot more support and documentation. So if you're new to the field and you're like, I don't know how to get started, I don't know what my document should look like, you can see an example of what other BAs are doing so you can know that yours is actually on par, right? So we'll have a lot more to help us grow as a business analyst community. And it's all practical, right? It's all helpful. I don't like to talk about fluffy stuff. Fluff, and it sounds great, tickles your ears, but how do you do it? Like, show me how to do it. That's what we want to do. We want to empower you to know how to do it because I want us to have an army of business analysts because the world needs us. All these businesses, they have problems. All these technology companies, they need somebody to help them to build the right thing. If it's a process improvement, they need that. So your skill is very much high in demand and you can get a very high paying job for the skill that you have. You're going to be an analyst. You are thinking for a living, right? And I want to help empower you to do that. So there's more of us. When I look at it, I think about the Indians have basically taken over programming. They're so good. When I was in college, everybody that was of Indian descent was always the top of the class when it comes to programming. So they have dominated that. Other people have dominated project management. So there is a space for business analysis that we can jump in there and just be the best. And so we could become known for that. We become known for being good analysts. Why not? You can do it. And I'm here to help you. All right. So in this stand-up, we'll do it in 3 ways or 3, normally when you have a stand-up, you find out, what did you to do today? What are you going to do? What blockers you have. We're kind of doing the same thing. We have an idea board. So Joshua has put the link in there. I don't know if I can pin the link. I'm not sure if you can pin it. It can't be pinned. But he just put a link in there and Joshua may have to comment it again. And that idea board has, you can create a card. So anything you want to talk about, sometimes you may not want to talk. You might be shy. And there's no space for you to be shy as a BA, right? But if in case you have something you just want to know, you don't want to forget it, you can put it on the idea board. The link is in the chat. If you're on my live, I'll see if I can, Joshua, if you can get on the live and put the link in there as well, they can add it. And then I will definitely read it from there. So guys, on the live, if you want to participate, you have to go to karaleise.com and click on the Global BA Stand Up. There'll be a pop-up that gives you the link. Click on that and register so you can join the Zoom meeting. The Zoom meeting is where we're having the discussion, but if you're on the YouTube live, you're just going to be listening in, and I'll periodically check your comments. But it's mainly the activity is happening mainly on the Zoom. All right, so go to karaleise.com, click on the Global BA Stand Up, register. You get the meeting link and you can join right now so that you can be a part of this discussion. All right. All right, so we only have a few minutes. We're going to end promptly today at 11 because I have another meeting. But let's start with everybody who is in the job hunt. How many people here are still in the job hunt, trying to land a job in the interview stage? Anybody here like that? Does anybody have any stories about their interview that they want to share? Anything that you think could help the group around interviewing and any challenges you're having there? If I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. Billy Quiz Bosula. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I actually recently saw your videos on YouTube, and then I was like, oh yeah, I have to follow you. So I registered, and then currently I'm on a boot camp for business analysis. So I'm from accounting background going into BA. So by next week I should be finishing up my class, and then I have an agent actually contacted me last week, and I'm trying to wrap I've actually done my CV according to, switch all the walls from being an accountant into a business analyst. And then part of the job description, it was asking me like if I have implemented any API before, and I've actually worked on Sage, QuickBooks, which are part of ERP as well. And then part of the project I did for my course was a capstone project, which was an HRM system where we have to implement an automated HRM system. And then I went ahead to build a user case and user story, and then the business requirement documents. But I'm just still skeptical about, transforming from BA, because I've already sent my CV to the guy. So hopefully he's going to come in for an interview, give my CV to the clients. So I'm just nervous about how to go ahead doing the interview, from being an accountant to a BA. And I've not actually worked as a BA before, but I have all the skills to do it.
Right. So I think if I understand you, your concern is you're making a transition from being an accountant to being a BA, and you have updated your resume to reflect business analyst terms, but you feel nervous about doing the interviews because you haven't actually worked in the field, and you are being asked questions specifically about how people work with APIs and so on, and you don't know if you're giving the right answer. Is that what you're saying? Am I summarizing it right?
Yes.
So yeah, this is common. Anybody who's never worked as a BA before with a formal title is going to have this feeling. But again, I want to encourage you that you can transition, but you have to do it in a very smart way, right? So updating your resume is great, but overly embellishing your resume is not good. I know, and every time I do these, I tend to get on a soapbox about it, but it's true. What I find is people are insisting on making the resume say nothing but business analyst because they want to get the job. But then when you go in the interview, you're not able to defend it because you haven't actually worked as a BA. In your case, you've done a capstone project and you've done the foundation or the boot camp course, which is great. It's going to help you to be exposed. But if you embellish your resume to the point where you have senior BA on there, you've been a BA all your life, everything you've ever done is a BA, you're going to over embellish, and when you get into the interview, they're going to ask you more pointed questions because they said, well, you're a senior BA, you've been doing BA all your life, every job you have is a BA, so show me what you can do. So the interview gets harder.
And I actually argue with that, because the coach, I argued with the coach, was like, okay, I work as a financial analyst. It was like, put financial business analyst.
Hold on. Let me explain something. You are an analyst. You are an analyst. You're already an analyst. You're a financial analyst. You're an accountant. You have been doing this professionally for how many years, maybe? Why would you let a coach tell you that you need to tell a bunch of lies to get in when you already have the knowledge? You just never had the title. Why would you listen to people telling you to go lie on your resume because that's the only way you're going to get the job? Who told you that? Why would you believe them?
I agree with that.
Yeah, because your spirit is telling you not to do it. The God in you is telling you this is not what I should be doing, and you feel it. But because you don't have the know-how and you want to get started, you're like, well, this is the only person that is, teaching me, so let me just listen to them. It's unfortunate. What I don't want is you have cut off yourself at the knees because you cannot put on there that you are a financial analyst, that you've been an accountant, when that would have been exactly what you need to get the job. Because now you can pull up stories from when you're an accountant. You can pull up stories for when you were doing financial analysis and say how you're analytical, how you can dig deep into the details, how you can, you're looking at documentation, you're good at documentation, all of these different things. Because as an accountant, you're deep in the weeds, which is the same skill you need, the same transferable skill you need to be a BA. So my advice, I know we have a lot of people who are waiting. My advice to you is this, that you need to be able to put on your resume the things that you've done so that you can talk about them you can have stories to tell. Most of the time, what they want from you in the interview is to see how do you think, how do you approach. It's not that you've been a BA forever. We know that you have to transition into the field. We know that nobody just leaves college and the first job is a BA. We know that. We know you make transitions in your career. So the first red flag that we see is when you have nothing but BA on your resume. We're like, really? You've done nothing else? That's all you've ever done? We don't believe you. So you need to put on your resume to show how you've grown as a professional, to show how you've transitioned. And if your last job, you could say, okay, you're a BA here. And what have you done? You've done documentation, you've done user stories. And the reason why you're going to talk about your past is because you're going to use that to help you get the future job. You're going to say, why do you want to be a BA? Because I've always been working in accounting, I've always been doing financial, and I'm so good at documentation, I'm so good at uncovering the root cause, I'm so good at troubleshooting, I'm so good at all of these things. And I realized that my skill area being applied to financial analysis is actually more applicable to business analysis. And I've worked on projects, I've worked on these details, and I'm really ready for it. I've invested in this course, I've already done this certification. I'm just so poised, and I've been doing this before. And you can point to examples of what you've done before. You can point to your capstone project. You can point to what you know about APIs. Sometimes that's what they want to hear. Genuineness, the fact that you're teachable, coachable, the fact that you can do the thing, you've done it before in a different realm, and now you realize, oh, all of those skills transfer over to the BA role. So my advice to everybody on the call who's waiting, listen, anybody who's telling you that you need to lie, look at the words coming out of my mouth, that you have to lie, you shouldn't trust them. Because where is their proof? They are the teachers. If you're teaching me so well, but I have to lie to get a job, then maybe what you're teaching me, I should question it. Because you should be equipping me to get the job. Why have to lie for? Why have to make up a bunch of stories? No, I'm not saying you can't tweak your resume. Of course you can. You can put documentation on there. You can put things that are close to what you did. You can reword it, of course. But all of your job title has to be senior BA? Why? You're not believable. All right, let me get off that. Swati, go ahead. I hope you helped you, Bisola. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bisola,
Karaleise,
yes, go ahead, Swati.
Yeah, so recently, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you. So recently I had an interview with some ex-company for a BA role, Karaleise. There I came forward with this question, I came across this question. Have you ever been in a situation where the documentation for the process that you are supposed to work isn't available or isn't there, and you have to pave your own way to like organically create your own documentation? How would you deal this situation?
Yeah, I mean, if you're being asked, the document doesn't exist. It's a very common thing. People just they don't document as much as they should. If it doesn't exist and you need to create your own documentation, then you have to go do your elicitation. You need to figure out what is the problem we're solving. Something has to exist though. Maybe the exact document doesn't exist for that particular thing, but there's some other document that exists. So you got to explore what does exist. What do we have? Do we have maybe a manual? Do we have like a training? Do we have even people? Who are the people working in the process where I can talk to them and they have it in their heads, but it's just not on a document? And then you can have questions, ask them questions, extract it from their heads, and document it so that the next person can have it documented. So it's a question about how you elicit requirements that's outside of documentation analysis. So all the other techniques that we use, workshops, interviews, role playing, observation, all of these things are other ways that you can elicit requirements, and that's how you'll answer that question. Speaking of which, just want to give you a little update. So we do have an insightful workshop coming on May 19th. Originally, I had May 12th, and I realized that it was Mother's Day, and I also don't want to miss my Mother's Day. So I moved it. So it's going to be May 19th. We're going to talk about how to elicit requirements. So we're going to be discussing 3 projects, and these projects will be an implementation project where you're not building anything, you're just configuring. We'll have, hold on guys, whoever is not on mute, go on mute, please. I think, whoever is not on mute, everybody stay on mute. Okay, I'll mute you if you're not mute yourself. Okay, so we're going to have, hold on, guys. I'll get to you. Just let me finish this. We're going to have our Insightful on May 19th, and we'll have 3 projects that we're going to work on. One will be the implementation project, where you don't have to build anything. It's just how do you work on a project where you're configuring things, you're implementing it. We'll have a software development project, which is you're building something new, and we'll have an enhancement where you are the product already exists, or the software already exists, and you need to improve one small thing. So we'll use those 3 types of projects in our next Insightful workshop, and we'll go through how do you elicit requirements? How do you know where to start? Who do you talk to? What do you ask them? What kind of documents do you produce? How do you work on projects like this so that when you land your job and they give you a project, they're going to give you a high level. Okay, we need to implement this thing. We need to improve this thing. We need to build this thing. Okay, where do you start? How do you work through from this high initiative down into the details until you have it done, right? So that's what we're going to be doing. It's going to be very practical. I don't do fluff. I am the world #1 business analyst because I do not do fluff. If you want to learn, you come to me. Okay, so we'll do that on the 19th. The link should be here. Joshua, can you put the link to our Insightful page? It's for $95, but you're getting a world-class education. That's very practical. All right, so that's what we'll do. So just wanted to say that since you talked about that.
I'll be really very quick.
Go ahead.
And the question is that you have a bunch of user stories or multiple user stories open but not completed, and also you have competing priorities to facilitate the gathering requirements, more than one competing priorities. How do you prioritize them? How do you handle them, this prioritization of completing this task?
So it's a very common problem also. And I have a video that I talk about how to prioritize and how to answer these kinds of questions. The video is called How to Answer Difficult Interview Questions. So if you guys want to get a more in-depth answer to that particular question, I think you should go watch that video. But the short answer is you prioritize based, you shouldn't be prioritizing by yourself, right? You should work with your product owner, because the product owner determines what the priority is that you guys work on. That's the first thing. But some of the things that you could look into for prioritization is how many people is it affecting? Is it that all out, all of our customers are being affected? Well, maybe this is a critical issue. We need to fix this first. Is it something that we could wait? Is there a time component? Is there a cost component? Those are some of the things that you think about when you think of prioritization, Moscow, all of these different other things. So the video goes into much more detail about how to prioritize and have competing things looking for your attention. But on a personal level, like if it's something that the PO has prioritized, but it's a lot of pressure on you, like to do both things, you still need to, like they say, okay, it's prioritize this thing and this thing. So you as a PO need to do both. Then you still have to ask them, okay, which one of these 2 things do we need to do first? because
Sure.
your attention needs to be totally focused as a BA to getting the correct requirements. And if you're being stretched too thin, that might be a challenge. But you also want to tell them in an interview that you're good at multitasking. So you're very good at multitasking, you're very good at working on multiple projects, but you just want to make sure you're working on the right thing at the right time. So you'll work with your POs to make sure you have that priority set.
That's great
Okay.
answer. Thank you so much,
Okay, good.
Karaleise.
All right, I have a bunch of people, and we only
Yeah,
have an hour. So I'm going to just pick people that I see, and then I might have to move on. But, let's see how much of you guys I can get in before I move to the next topic. So I think I had Jeff next. I might be wrong, but Jeff, I see your hand up. Go ahead. Scotty, if you're done, you can take your hand down.
Hi, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So what happens to me is I pass the first interview, I go to the second interview, and they tell me you're going to the hiring manager, but then I never hear them from ever again. It's something that continues to happen. I'm kind of like, well, what did I do wrong? How do I find out what I did wrong?
It's not
And
always you.
Ghost me.
It's not always you. Yeah, people ghost all the time. You'd be surprised. Even the best of us get ghosted. And it's unfortunate because I think the recruiter should have a responsibility to respond and say exactly what it was so that you can improve for the next, but they don't always do that. The good thing is that your resume is doing its job to get you the call, and you're doing your job to get the first round of interviews, even the second round. For the BA role, unfortunately, sometimes it takes you 4 rounds. You do a first round just for them to vet you, do a second round, which may have a panel, and then a third, they may give you like a case study. So it sometimes goes that way. It's not you, it's just things happen during the interview process that is outside of your control. Sometimes they lose the budget, sometimes the project ends, sometimes they don't have it prioritized to get this person anymore. You never know. It'd be great if they told you, but you don't always know. You just have to keep going in the interview. You know by now that you're doing well because you're getting to the second round. You just need to button up some of your interview answers, maybe tell better stories. I do have a consult called the BA Interview Success Blueprint. I have lots of success with it, where I walk you through how to tell good stories so that by the end of the interview, you should be moving on to the next phase, right? So that's, you just have to keep going. It's a very tough job market right now. So be happy that you're getting interviews, but I want you to nail that one. I want you to get an offer. So if you want to, do my consult and get some more tips on that, that's great. But at least I know that the resume looks like it's working because you're getting through. We just need to button up some of the storytelling and try to see if that can make a difference in getting an offer. All right.
Yeah, I just like in Canada, they have it's hard unless you know someone, it's a friend or a family. I just feel like maybe that's the problem.
I mean,
don't know them personally.
I don't discount it. I think nepotism does work. Okay, nepotism definitely works. People are getting jobs because they know people. People are getting jobs because they have referrals. But it's not the only way to get a job. I have never gotten a job because somebody gave me a referral. Never.
Okay.
All of the jobs I've ever had, I came in cold. Right? So it's possible. I'm not saying it doesn't play a role, but you can break through the cracks. You definitely can. I've done it, and I know others who have. So you can keep going. It's just it's disheartening, and I really empathize with you now. There's just so many more people on the market. This is not the market of 2021 where people used to almost be quitting their job to do their side hustle. Now people are trying to keep their job as much as possible, right? So
Yeah, you hear lots of layoffs and stuff going on right now.
yeah, so many layoffs happened after the pandemic that the market is flooded with talented people. So they have a lot to choose from. So we just have to keep going. And I really hope that you get a job soon. And reach out to me if you need some more help.
Thank you very much.
All right. Okay. Let's go. The next person on my list here is Lean. Lean. Other people, I know you've been holding your hand, but I can just tell you who I see next. Lean, go ahead.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
Well, I'm interested in a business analyst, and I wanna ask, what is the best answer to the answer when they ask about what do you know about the business analyst? Because I read a lot of a business analyst, and I don't know how to answer this question.
They ask you, what do you know about business analyst?
Yeah.
Well, you have to know what you're going up for.
Yes, I know. No, I'm looking for a job. I'm still looking for a job.
Okay, so the
But
first thing is
I need to know.
okay, so if you've not worked in the field yet, I can see how this can be confusing. But if you're going for the job, you have to be very concrete as to what the job is and what it is that what value you're bringing. So the business analyst is a change agent. We are there to help the organizations adapt to change and to be ready for that change. So we help with changes in the processes. If it's a change that needs a technology, we're there to help make sure they have the right tools and systems to facilitate this change. Our main deliverable as a business analyst is the requirements. So we deliver requirements, whether in the form of a BRD or user stories. We also deliver other documentation such as flowcharts and other things to help the organization get ready for what the change is that is being asked to happen. If there is no change and we don't have a role, right? We're there because something is changing and we're the agents to help that be facilitated. All right? All right. Thank you, Lynn. All right. Olaginka is the next person.
Yeah, hello, thank you very much for doing this. I actually come across your video on YouTube because I was searching for business analysis because I've had like 2 trainings. It's not really 2 trainings. I have 1 training, then I watched some videos as well from one guy in Canada. So I'm just a new BA and I'm looking for a job. I've been sending CVs and all that. So the last training I had, they cooked the CV for me, you understand? But actually, when I see the CV, I feel like, okay, this is the right thing to do. Then be sending, applying and all that. So when I come across one of your videos, I say, don't cook CV too much. Don't do all those things. I also like, okay, I think this thing is too much because when they call me to come and talk about this thing, I might not be able to defend it because I had one interview like that and then try to defend it. But I myself, I know this thing is not working. You understand? And they told me that they could get back to me, but nothing come up. You understand? So I try to because I do one internship on e-commerce business analytics. So I put that one as the one I'm doing currently. You understand? And the previous one I did, I used some of the CV they cooked for me and all that. So since then, I've not been getting through to it. So the CV, my mind was thinking maybe the CV is not right or maybe something is going on and all that. So I just need your help. How am I going to do the CV because I'm a carer right now. I just want to switch to something else. You understand?
So the challenge is, and we're going to have to jump to the next topic I have on the list here, but the challenge is not necessarily the CV only. The challenge is that you have to understand the role. And you have to understand what you're doing as a BA. How do you work as a BA? How do you work on projects? How do you communicate with teams? How do you work with technical teams? How do you work with leadership? You have to understand the role so that when you're in the interview, you can convey that. And it's difficult to understand it if you've never worked in it. I get that. But that's why you're doing these courses, right? This is why you're doing the boot camps. This is why you're trying to get exposure, watching my videos, coming to these events, to be exposed to how the real world of work is. Because the CV just has one job. Its only job is to get you the call. But the rest of it is you. So if you're not getting calls, that's pointing to the CV. But if you're getting calls and you're not going through it, then you need to work on your better storytelling skills. And you have to work on getting the knowledge in. My videos give you all the details for free. I'm not gatekeeping anything. So you can study them. Yes, study them and use them in the interview.
A lot from your video. I know basically how to go about with the documentation because I watch your video every single day. I watch different ones on how to do the user stories, everything, documentations, and I watch everything. But the thing is, I think the problem is CV because I'm not getting called.
Yes, so you need to work. You need to work on the CV. So I do have a concept called the Business Analyst Interview Success Blueprint that also includes me looking at your CV to make sure you're saying the right things. And then you could book that one. We can talk about it and get some help there. But yes, I would agree with you. If you're not getting any calls, then the CV might be the culprit there. All right, we got a lot more people, and I have to jump to the next topic in a few minutes. So this is going to be the last 2 people. We're going to talk about job interview stuff. I have. Gosh, there's so many people. Let me see if I could. The next person I see up is Sola. Go ahead, Sola. Sola going once, going twice.
Good morning. Yeah. It's my own challenge is I'm fractured with myself. I'm trying to transition. But what I live in Canada, just to give you background.
Okay.
My challenge is I always see senior PA. And I know I can't be a senior PA. That is my challenge. I'm true to myself. I know I can't be a senior PA, but I don't see intermediate BA. I don't even see BA. I always see senior BA, and all.
I'm sure
So
you'll
that's
see some
a
BAs.
challenge.
I'm sure you'll see some BA, but I will agree with you that people tend to want senior BA because the kinds of roles that they have, especially Canada is very good on software development. The kinds of role they have requires lots of experience, and even as a BA, you're a middle manager off the rip, right? You're not being told what to do. You're not being given steps to follow. You are coming up with those steps. You are the one who is deciding what should I do next. You're creating your own path for your job. Nobody's telling you anything. They just give you a project and they leave you alone, and you need to show up with results. So it's really, there's a lot of leadership that's required, and that's why they tend to want to just say senior, because they don't want to hold anybody's hand. This job, the projects are moving fast. There's so much to do. They don't have time to coach you to hold your hand. They want to be able to bring you in, tell you about the project, tell you about the product, tell you about the company, and then let you go. So that's the benefit that they want from a senior BA. But there are BA jobs, business analyst jobs, that you can. I shudder to think that there's only senior business analyst jobs. I would think that there are some business analyst jobs. It's not going to say junior, but it's going to say business analyst or business analyst tier one, or something like that. Because if you just jump in for a senior, the reason why I caution new BAs from jumping into a senior role is if you've worked in something similar before, like you've worked in project management or something, fine, you can jump in. But if you've not worked in any of those kind of roles and you jump into senior, you'll kind of struggle because you don't know where to start anyway, and then you have the pressure of having to deliver at a senior level immediately. So it takes a toll on you, and I wouldn't recommend it for the way to get started, right? Okay, last person, and then we gotta jump. I know there's some stuff going on in the comments. Let me respond to some of these comments over here on YouTube. How often do you do this live on YouTube? I'm doing it now the first Monday of every month. So I've been doing it on Zoom before, and I wasn't going live on YouTube, but now I'm going live. So the first Monday of every month, you can look out for the Global BA Stand Up. If you register on my website, then you can just keep the meeting invite so you can join the Zoom and ask your question, or you can just watch on live. But it's going to be the first Monday of every single month. We're going to be meeting together, talking about our careers, giving you some free advice, help you to get started so you can excel and be a better thinker, a better listener, and a better analyzer of problems. All right. Last person, Ade Kunle. I think it's the person's hand. I see that's still up. Ade Kunle, have you gone already, or go ahead?
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hi, actually, thank you for this opportunity, for this platform. I really appreciate it. Because I've got a lot of interviews, Joe. I've gone for several interviews. And I feel that what you just mentioned recently in terms of storytelling, I think that's where I feel probably when I get feedback, they will say, oh, you got a detailed information as regards what's done. Of course, you might have nailed the question, but however, we need more details how to see truly you actually do all this stuff. So, because I think I need a kind of how do I call it, fine-tuning the story in terms of how you're able to tell the story to convince them to say, yes, you actually know this, you actually can do this. Because for me, at least within the last 3 weeks, I think I've got like 2 or 3 interviews, which I've granted. And the question they've been asked was just probably asking about what have you done in terms of stakeholder management, conflicting requirement, just around that, and give an example of how you use staff format, which I did. But I feel that probably I didn't nail it up to the what they can convince them that, yes, you really know this. So I think I need that kind of thing, kind of coaching or storytelling for that.
Yeah, you definitely need to have good stories, because if you don't have good stories, how can they be convinced that you know what you're doing? How can they be convinced that you need to paint a picture in their brain of you in the role doing the stuff that you say that you can do? And that's why the storytelling is very important. I think I saw Andrew in here. So the consult that I have done for a lot of people is called the Interview Success Blueprint, where we walk through how to tell good stories, even about things you've never done, without having to tell a lie. So I'm going to teach you how to tell good stories about the BA role without having to lie, and without having without having worked in it. because you know it, because you've been studying it, right? You're watching my videos, so you can talk about it, but you don't have to make up a long, story that you get trapped in. So I thought I saw Andrew say, book the consult. The interview success blueprint consult is the one for you for that, and it's on my website if you guys want that. It's a very thorough consult, and if anybody here who's done it, they can put in the chat. It's been very, very helpful for them. All right, so we're gonna move to the next topic. We're moving away from interviews right now. Thank you guys for sharing about your interview stories, and if anybody has any case studies that they did in their interview that they want to share, just email it to me, karaliseblog@gmail.com, and I would be very happy because I collect them. I have a lot of case studies that I use to help understand what the interviewers are out there asking you guys. So if you have any of those, please forward it to me so I can look at it. So the next thing I want to talk about are, apart from the interviews being a blocker, is there anybody who's like working in the field of business analysis right now, and you have something that's not going well? What's not going well for people who are working in the field? And then I'll talk about what is going well in a minute. But any challenges, any blockers for people who already have a job that they would like some advice on? All right, Wanson, go ahead. Onsen, if I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. Hi.
It's Onsen.
Onsen.
For me, I just started working in January as a BA. I transitioned from the bank as a financial advisor. So I think the challenge I'm having right now is my lead BA. She's also new into the organization, 6 weeks before me. Mm-hmm. And she wants me to do like SIT report, regression, and just work as a tester from A to Z. Like, I'm not just writing the test cases, but she really wants me to do the job.
She's a crazy person. She's crazy. You're dealing with a crazy person. She wants you as a BA to do SIT and regression testing.
Yes. I'm currently working on 2 tasks right now in Jira where I wrote the requirements, by the way, and I'm the one doing the SIT report as well. And we do have a tester, but I think my organization, we do have a lot of testing that needs to be done. So she wants us to be cross-functional. Like, the tester doesn't get to do a BA job, but I get to do a tester job.
Yeah, it's unfair. It's definitely unfair. And I don't know if it's because there's such a backlog of testing that needs to happen for them to get this thing out and have it in production, why they are asking you to jump in. But it's also not a good idea functionally. Yes, you may be short on testers, but stretching the BA to do testing is not the solution. Here's why. When you write the requirements and then you're also doing the testing, you're going to miss things because you're too close to it, because you know exactly how it should work and you kind of just see it even though it's not there. You need a different person to have a fresh pair of eyes to do that sit test, to do the integration, to do the regression, so that they can catch things and they can have a better quality release. So my advice to you is to say to her that it's just not best practice. And it's not that you don't want to help. You definitely want to help if there's anything you can write. But writing the test is its own nightmare. Writing the test cases and then executing on the test is not really a BA function. And it's also something that's not a best practice, because I feel like because I'm so close to it, I might not catch things because I expect it to work this way and I don't see it because I've been looking at the requirements the whole time. So you have to find a way to push back. I mean, you can speak as professionally as you can, but having somebody throw you into a role that's not yours and is not good for the product is not a good idea. And you have to find a way to push back on that for sure.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
All right. Olufunke is the next person I see with their hand up. Go ahead, Olufunke.
Hi, Karaleise.
Hi.
So I got a job last year. Mm-hmm. That was, I think, around a year now. Last year with Department of Health. And so online, when I saw the job, it was a business analyst role. But when I started the job, it was something else. Like, it was something different.
They switched
So
it
like
up for you.
For months, I was just, there are times when I wouldn't even do anything, and I wasn't fulfilled, because I have read, went through the stress of applying and all that. Now getting the job, I'm not really doing anything. So now, like 6 months down the line, I started doing some things. So I was assigned to a project, but currently the project is currently in operations and maintenance phase. So what I do right now is I work with the division chief. So what I do is I review test results, and sometimes when there's an issue with the vendor, I review the root cause analysis documents they send and all that. But I still feel like I'm not doing enough. So like the part where you have to elicit requirements and all that, I didn't do that. So now I'm in between. Should I just wait and stay for some time and see if there is something I can learn? Because this is actually my first BA, so to say, role, or should I just start, applying for a new role? So I'm just in between right now.
So the job market is rough, just so you know. So you definitely, if you can apply for another role, but you need to get it before you leave. That's for sure.
Yeah, sure.
It's you'll be surprised that a lot of people don't know what a BA does, and so they put BA out there. You interview for the job, and then they just think you're a resource that they can put in anywhere, which is unfortunate. Meaning that they don't respect the fact that you've chosen a career, and this is a career you want to grow in, and you need to be asked to solve the kinds of problems that would help you grow. So, it's a tough one. You really have to look at your gut feeling on this one. Is there anything on the job description that you are doing that you feel like, that was what was on the job description, or is everything just a whole different role?
Just what I'm doing right now is, I think, just a little bit, just let's say like 10% is just what I'm doing that has to do with the job description with the BA thing right now. And the fact that, like I said, the project is in operations and maintenance phase. So there's really, nothing much like that.
Yeah, well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a function of where the project is right now. Maybe there'll be another project where you'll be able to do more. So part of it is you may have to sit tight regardless, because you still have, if you're even looking for another job, you have to wait for that job to come through. So let's see what can you learn while you're there, and see if there's any opportunities for other projects where you can be able to express yourself more, to learn more as a business analyst. All right. Let me take 2 questions on the live. I've been ignoring you guys. I don't mean to. Lots of love for the people on the YouTube. So somebody said, and this is Bowman Naruri. If I say it wrong, I keep apologizing. I'm stuck between BA job in privately owned sector and job at government. Both are contracts. Government pays more though. What do I do? What does he do if he has a private sector job and a government job, but one pays more? I would say, it depends on how much you value the pay, right? If it's like a really big jump and it's a lot and it's government, why not? If it's the same role, if there's nothing else that's different, you're getting to do the same kind of job, you're fulfilled in both, and the only differentiator is the money, go for the money. And then government jobs tend to be more stable. I don't like government because it's not exciting enough for me. I need excitement. I need to know that we're building cool stuff and everything is, new, and we move at a faster pace in the private sector. So I'm not a government person. But if you want to take it easy and everything's calm and everything moves slowly and your job is secure and you can just do a little thing here and you still get a lot of money, fine, go ahead. Right? But for me, I love private sector because I love the excitement. I love building cool stuff. I want to work with, a bunch of people who are creating AI stuff, and it's all innovative and new. I find that government tend to be the last to adopt things, and that's just too slow for me. All right. Sohel says, I'm getting a job as a functional analyst or consultant, and it's really similar to a business analyst. Any comments or pointers? It's going to be my first ever job. Congratulations. And we're going to switch to that next, where I bought a gong to celebrate everybody who getting a new job, but I can't find the actual thing to, I found it. As I wanted to say, I couldn't find the thing to hit the gong, but I found it. So we're going to move to that next, where we're going to celebrate all the people who actually got new jobs. So yes, that's great. All right. Let's take one more current job. Anybody else current job? Let's see. Tara. Sorry, I know there was another person who had their hand up. Sorry, go ahead, Tara. You'll be, unfortunately, the last person on this topic. Go ahead.
Hi, Karaleise. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I have a question for you. So I am in the market, still hunting for a BA job. And I just felt that due to the saturation in the market right now, I live in Canada, I started preparing for the CBAP exam. And I just wanted you to share your thoughts on this. Do you think it's a good idea? I'm deep in the study process. And I just felt it might give me an edge based on the saturation, right? So what do you feel?
Where are you located?
I'm in Canada.
Okay. Well, if you're in Canada, yes. Canada is very, I don't know why, but they're very stuck on certifications over there. Canadians in the room, why are you guys stuck on some certifications? It's kind of not the same over here in the US, right? So I would have said that if you're in the US, it's good to have, but it's not going to be a differentiator. To be honest with you, I've been a little bit disappointed with the things that I see in both the CBAP and the ECBA, because it's so theoretical and it's not really necessary. Like, it's good to have the cert to show that you're committed to the career, that you learn and you're formally trained. It's great. But functionally, to be able to do the job, you're going to get a piece of paper that you're going to put in your wall and you're done with it. That's it. That's the only purpose you have for it. But it's good for you if you haven't worked in the field, the cert is going to help force you to learn these concepts, these techniques. It's good to have. I'm not saying you shouldn't have it. I'm just saying you don't need to have it to get a job. But if you're in Canada, it adds a little bit more weight to your resume, because I've seen the Canadian job market ask you specifically for CBAP. And I've seen interviewers ask you specifically for CBAP in Canada. And I was like, why are you doing, it's not going to change how the person functions in the role, right? So yeah, I mean, you don't have to have it, but it's a good thing to have. I just don't want you to rely on the knowledge you gain from the cert to feel like you can actually function in the job. It's kind of a paper thing. It's kind of an academia thing. To be completely honest with you. So do it to have that piece of paper, but you need practical experience. You need exposure to the real world of work, which you'll get from watching my videos. And there are other creators out there that have more hands-on stuff that you can learn from. All right. So again,
thank you so much.
The cert is important, but don't rely on having a cert to get a job. If you don't have the cert yet, go apply for your job. Okay. Don't wait to have a cert to get started in the job market. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. I'm going to move to the next, we're almost out of time, to the next section, which is I want to celebrate the people who have had successes in their career. So anybody in this group has had a promotion, have landed a new job, have just finished a project and it was successful. Even things that your team has not, recognized you for, but you did a good job. You did this stuff. You really knocked it out the park. And I want to celebrate you. I want to recognize you, and I want to help you feel encouraged that you're doing a great job. And so if anybody has any story about their accomplishments so far, please share it with us. All right, who's first? I see, if you've already spoken and you haven't lowered your hand, please lower it so that I don't get confused as to who has not yet spoken. I think Olofunke, you've already said something. I don't know. Anybody else? Okay, Wanson, I think you've already spoken, right? Anybody here have a success story they want to share with us? So a lot of y'all, somebody need to have a success story. No projects, no promotions, landed a new job, anything successful.
I do,
all right, go ahead. Let's hear it.
So I don't know if you still remember me. I did the whole consultancy with you.
Yes.
I tried my best to get a BA role. I was having interviews back and back, getting to stage 2, stage 3, and nothing was happening. And then I was just one day I saw a project management role with an energy company, and I'm like, go for it. I had an interview, and they called me the next day that I got the job. So I've been with them now a year plus, and it's going very well.
The gong! I can't hold it because I got my other hand, but I got to bang the gong for you. Congratulations! That's very good.
I'm going to say to everyone who is struggling to get a BA role now, you have an interview back and back, you're doubting yourself, you're not sure if it's your CV, if it's yourself, if it's where you are. Maybe just look within. Just look for where, if there's a project management role in a company, just get in there, and then from there you can switch. maybe makes it easier, especially as a first-time BA. It's always difficult. I came from a supply chain background, and it was so hard trying to get a BA role.
Yeah.
And look at me, project manager in an energy company in the UK for a year now,
Nice.
and I'm doing so well.
Nice. And we had done the consult, Ngozi, right? We had done the interview success consult.
We did.
Yes. And we walked through how to do the interviews and how to be successful. So I'm happy about that. Awesome. I'm so happy. All right, one more before we go to our idea board. Anybody else? All right, going once, going twice. It's 60 plus of you. So let's go here. So I'm going to jump through these. So these are some of the things that you guys had put on the board. And one was, if you see me looking over there, that's because my monitor is over there. So one was, what is going well? Understanding the roadmap to being an efficient BA. That's good. Yes, if you understand the role and what it is that you need, then having a roadmap, or even if there's one created for you by the product owner or the product manager, that would be helpful. Can you guys see my screen, by the way? Yes? Can you see my screen that I'm sharing, guys?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Can you tell us how to understand the project lifecycle? I read a lot about it, but I didn't understand it very well. I'm still looking for a job. Okay, I can tell you about that, but you might need to do one of my videos where we talk about the product lifecycle. I also have an article on my website, karaleise.com, that talks about the product lifecycle and how it goes through to improve on a product. I couldn't go through it now in the next 3 minutes that we have, but there's definitely resources available for you to go out there and find that information, both in video format and also in an article on my website that I talked about this. All right, what's not going well? So searching for a job, we talked about that. Timing and choice of a suitable industry. I don't know if you need to worry as much about the industry as a BA, because your skills are transferable. It really doesn't matter the industry. The industry is just going to give you, individual details, but the skills that you have are transcendent across industries. So you don't have to pick one and say, this is it, I got to stick with this. Just get a job in any industry, work there, learn how to do the BA skills. So focus on your transferable BA skills, and then you can always switch industries if you want later. You're not tied to it, right? Working as a BA and conducting regression and SIG testing, where to draw the line. I think somebody raised that before we answered that. Prioritization of PBL when there is no product vision and roadmap from BA lead. How can a new BA step in without being perceived negatively or taken advantage of by the other BA and lead BA? When you say PBL, I think you meant PBI, right? So PBI stands for product backlog item. It's just, what is this individual item, like a user story that we need to work on? And if that's not prioritized, then you might feel like you're just working on everything. You have to train people how to work with you. Yeah. So if they're not working with you in the way that you want to be worked with, you kind of have to train them. And that doesn't mean having a big meeting and telling them what you want. It just means that you start working in the way that you want them to respond. You start communicating clearly. You start not making assumptions. You start doing the things that you want them to start doing. For example, if they haven't prioritized the backlog, you prioritize it. And you call them in a meeting and say, okay, I looked at the backlog. These are the items that's there. I have prioritized it this way because these are the stores I can work on. What do you think? Is this okay? Are you okay with this prioritization? They either say yes or they say no. If they say no, then you're forcing them to prioritize, right? So you kind of have to be proactive so you don't sit back and be told. Remember, you're an analyst. You are a thinker. You're not there to be given steps to follow. You are creating the steps and telling them what the steps are, not in an obnoxious way, not overstepping your bounds, not like, in a rude way, but you're being professional and you're saying, for me to be successful, I need to know what the priorities are that I'm working on. This is prioritized. Okay, this is how I'm going to break it down. And you start taking ownership. People will give you respect when you start taking ownership and you start doing the things that leads to successful results. All right. The other one says, a project I have been placed on only has wireframes for requirements. What is your advice on extracting user stories from this? You're lucky. You actually have wireframes. You're very lucky, Some of us have nothing. We get in there, we're given a high level project initiative goal, and that's it. We have nothing to go on. So even just having wireframes is a lot. So you have to develop the skill of eliciting requirements. And that goes to the same thing I was telling you guys about earlier, where we're having this workshop, which is going to teach you that. You have to know, okay, this is what I'm given, but is this even correct? What's the problem I'm solving? Why do we come here? What are we trying to do here? Is this even a good wireframe? You may have to discount the wireframe itself. It may not even be good. So that's why they pay you, right? They pay you to ask questions. They pay you to formulate recommendations. They pay you to uncover things. And nobody's going to tell you, well, you should be doing this and should be doing that. It's not, this is not a job like at a factory where you go press button and you have steps. You come up with the steps. So you have to, in this particular case, you have to learn how to elicit the requirements. And if you don't know how to do that, come to Insightful. On May 19th, we'll be talking about how to elicit requirements exactly from projects like these, where you have very limited scope and you have to do it. All right. I have to drop. There is a meeting I have to join. So unfortunately, we're at the end of our Global BA stand-up. Let me give the gong another shout. The gong. Guys, I hope you had a great time with us. I hope that you guys found value in this, and I hope to see you again in our next Insightful, which is going to be in June. Yes, in June, the first Monday in June, and we'll talk about other things. So very, very happy that you guys are able to join. Remember to go and check out my Insightful. So if you go to my website, I have this up about the Insightful. And if you go to this page from that link, you'll see a little bit more detail about what we'll be doing. You'll be getting 3 hours. It's going to be a 3-hour long class where you're going to learn how to elicit requirements. You have to learn how to draw out the real requirements from your stakeholders so that when you write requirements that are accurate. And when I say write requirements, it's not just BRD, it's user stories, whatever the format is, the requirement itself is correct, right? So we'll be looking at these types of projects, development projects, implementation, enhancements. So it's going to cost you $95 for 3 hours. It's a steal. Go sign up and let's meet together on May 19th, 2024, where I'll be teaching you guys how to elicit requirements. All right? Thanks, everybody. Very happy. Let's do it, Ego. Let's do it, guys. Thank you, guys. Take care. Bye-bye. Thanks, everybody who joined on the live. Take care. Bye, guys. Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Okie doke.